and says a free SHS cannot be done in this country. And that a 419, it cannot be implemented in the life of this country. And this policy was targeted for the youth of this country. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo Dubai for his first term, his first year, September, our West African secondary school, he implemented that policy, targeted for the youth. Now we have an individual coming to tell us, say, on the Oba, he's for the youth. That cannot be the case. On Kanche Temoyo Man Penino, how many jobs he created for the youth? He should give us the numbers. You can't just say may provide the jobs. Give us the numbers. How many jobs did you create for the youth? Then we can have a faith and believe in you, say, you have the credibility to do that. We have created over 2 million jobs. Majority of them are for the youth of this country. So what is he talking about? He has been a president before. So, but he can't abide any man penny. Sabi emebunu nani ku omo ho na wa ye omo wa ba omo mwa Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo ni Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the MPP administration across board from John Ajekum Kufuor. We implemented the National Youth Employment Program, NYEP, for the first time, targeted for the youth of this country. Yenya nurses for Yenya Kufuor nurses, Kufuor teachers, it was implemented by MPP administration. And then we know say there was National Innovation and Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NUIP. Yenya mamno mebunu amu free sebi srem eba the south in Kumasi sebi omo swaswa de efre mu kaya yofo. Me kan obuo mu ne ani die mu a sebi mani nsan obia me kan wa brasem me na gu me sada me sayem na me na gu fom. Sebi your man Penny Dada John Dramani Mahama no free srem. Majority of these young people come from where he hails from, to the south. Omo so a pan so mo fan enyo mo kaya you know. So pan ye kan otwi mu say.
Kanje.
Eno di mo so mo fan nye o madwuma. Today we are talking about a government and individuals say we want building institution to train them to move away from kaya you. So even in your constituency here mebo.
So what say mo na me misaw nsoma bi en say waka nsoma ne bebre. Nea wo pa kire ne say Ura Mahama ne niama ba won ahye wo manifesto no mu ne nea won ntuma nye bra wo aben mu enu nti ense emfata sebe se ne kuro nya kokuduru se oba be petumi em se wo kasa ne.
Yes.
Na mamimisaw yete Ura Bawumia o se workers are crying. What is akasa? What and they etwa ne ntwaye. First, I'm going to question not to. Also, when the fundamentals are weak, no exchange rate, no expose you. Are we out of the woods yet? A fee, also, Baba shed dollar a CD mama, Maya ding. So, time no refier Kumwason, M's CD to dollar, a 1 to 4. And yes, and nay, your wife, me did this as Uncle Mono, occupy wagene. A fee, what a can, so Ramahama. On chile nyuma o creative se mo create 2.3 million or so you and na mo so ne mo creating ahene aka nipa ahene woni nyuma na efe wo hwe MPP manifesto mo de ade bi bai mo say the aging act won anyin mo de ye mere bi aba ba bua won asiesie won asetenem wo hwe mo manifesto na sa de no the aging act ene niam won anyin baba bua na so wo babu obi ade na woman haircut. Miura Manuato.
Merci. Me call program hosted beside BSS questions started.
So who the woman list nti me ma wona fe yakoyen anim. Did am say chiro to.
The edi kan.
E bia memobo na ye
no me macho ni nyina wa. Me kai pa. Again, we are looking at the next performance of the two political parties in this country. The New Patriotic Party, yenka say ye boa ye she nyina ye di nyina so. And Mamin Jintum Precope said the economy is not in a good state. What I say? Ye Jitum say okay the budget statement read in
Ghana for Moba.
Yeah, Patrol, I need him a mayor son. Osha budget statement I kind in 2021 for 2022, paragraph 20. Or man Penin and Adu Dankwa Akufo-Addo or Jitum Precope say Ghana for him. He even mentioned that Ghanaians are suffering. And these are the things that keep him awake at night. What I say? And then number one. Number two, Omanpeni that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 2022, in April 7th, Pentecost auditorium, baby. He accepted, say without a cause, Ghanaians are going through a lot. Ghanaians are suffering. Just in recent time, the finance minister apologized for what is going on in the DDEP. So we accept said there are challenges and that Ghanaians are suffering. Now no question that means press engagement. A journalist asked the question, said some time ago, we question that you told us that nurses are suffering, carriers are suffering, are suffering. Today, what is the case? And the vice president and the flag bearer and leader of the New Patriotic Party accepted that yes, it's true that even now Ghanaians are suffering. But even when Ghanaians are suffering, look at the interventions that we put in place. You can't discount that. In the midst of all our sufferings, public and civil workers are still being paid. In the midst of all our sufferings, your light is so. In the midst of all our sufferings. In the midst of all our sufferings, allowances, yedima teacher for, nurse for, omuko training school, yedima. In the midst of all our sufferings, sabi yenuanu kuma any mamo, kontra so school, free for 8 good years. In the midst of all our sufferings. In the midst of all our sufferings, ya triple and quadruple, leaps of support, yedima sabi, and penifwane, yafone mobrawa. We have done that in the midst of all our sufferings. Even in the midst of all our sufferings, the cushion that we have given to the Ghana, now you say, okay, your friend be go, opportunity go, growth opportunities. Yeah. Devoting 8 billion to the SMEs in Ghana. As we talk now, 90% of all businesses are SMEs in Ghana. 70% of them are contributed to gross domestic products. 82% of all manufacturing companies are SMEs. Yamomu 8 billion. In the midst of all our sufferings, these are the things that we are doing. And now, again, on the exchange rate. Now, no, Omanpeni bedi echiri na obua Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo amane 2 francs. Like I say, if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. At that time, not for 3 consecutive years, the budget deficit was in double digits. Inflation was about 15%. Now we show your foreign reserves are not swatting. Now we were struggling. Doomso was costing us $2 million every single day to businesses, according to Institute of Statistical and Social Economic Research. So the fundamentals were weak. In 2014, the cedi was the weakest currency in the world. In fact, a wiki bear for 40%. Now when you come back and you look at today, the fundamentals are not strong. They are weak today. Inflation is about 20%. Debt to GDP is over 80%. And why are the fundamentals weak? It's because of what the world experienced. A global pandemic that had a cascading effect and impact on the economy. The economy, as it were, the fundamentals of the world's economy are not as strong as they used to be. And that's a fact. So yes, the fundamentals are weak now because of a hit, something that struck the nation. And that is why 27th of March 2020, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo, made a profound statement. Or share any reporter on your free Bank of Ghana. So time now your GDP was about 6-7%. Now it reduced by about 2.5%, 2.25%. Then he said, sir, from the analysis now and looking at the trend of things, say COVID no annual that was March 2020, at the height of the COVID, the economy will die. And if the economy dies, we know how to bring back the economy to life. But what we do not know is to bring back life. We've lost. This was a profound statement. That was even at the time when the GDP was 2.25%. GDP by 0.14%. Because of the COVID. So, and then fundamentals in a weakness, exchange rates, exposing. It's true then, and it's true now. But the truth of the matter is, and the good news is that we are coming out of. And you said it, you alluded to it today. See, FFL, that was your word. What I said. So that tells you, said, we had John Dramani Mahama as a caretaker president, when Ghana had not suffered any global crisis, not even regional crisis, not even domestic crisis. When he took over from Omampenia, Nyamefani Krensi, John Evans Atamos, this economy, that economy then, Dumson and Kahumbi. At the time he took that office, no, he took us to Dumson number 1. Number 2, just so you know, his first State of the Nations address in 2013. I see that statement made by him. Just because of the wage bill. Dramani Mahama told Ghanaians, say, on to me boom money because of the size of the wage bill. And for that matter, scare on no one can say, and this is an individual without crisis who couldn't manage the economy. And now that we are in global crisis and we are going through challenges, you want us to bring him back? For what?
Yeah, ni awo kani nyina no monso mu wosinto.
Menka se ni sinto.
NDC nso wosinto.
But so o kari yemi enu.
Na wo reka se ni awoye a won antuma anyenti ente so wo mo ba. Monso monsem ni bi ni gu abonten. Mabun dodo anso na monten. Ujedi.
Of course I understand that.
The Aging Act amusu mo bebo won anyin penimfo ho ban na boa won. Mama won haircut ma Chief Justice no wo picket wo finance ministry eno ya sempa ntia mamomra
dabi enya sempa in fact before
ma mentwe wadwene nkwa de ba ko bio so ma asem no wo kan wo so mo de mafiase na moye no ho niema excuse di obi abeti mama
excuse for what
COVID no ho niema
COVID is not an excuse with the greatest of respect COVID is not an excuse Dabi, COVID is not an excuse.
COVID no. Enyam nkwa na kam.
Dabi, COVID is not an excuse. COVID is not an excuse. COVID is not an excuse.
COVID. If some mukasa na Russia Ukraine war. COVID. Eno ho niam. Niam pese me kyerɛw ne se enye Ghana nkwa na saa ohawi ebese nwonkom
nokre
iyo nti adenti na eno de yentie se eno de ehaw mo enu nti mo de wonto abamam na obi de wenyo ohaw bia mo enyo ohaw iyo mede masem ni wie mo enyo ohaw no issue of corruption eye den na mo matra NDC for Transparency International report da
first of all
iyo
I don't think it's fair for you to say COVID is an excuse. It's not.
You see, na mekan ebia.
What can say we?
Debi, na mekan one asamuna mekan na say, magina so. E de kasa.
Magina so is the reality.
Yes. Say ugina so ya. Eno nkyere say nea wo ka no. Say what you say enya no.
So I no cry say COVID had an impact.
E wo ho na nea me so wunim say enya Ghana nkwa na COVID.
So the point is that they haven't felt the impact of COVID.
Na wo hwe wo de toto ho a ebi mu so abo modern in Ghana na no se ba no den ebi abo modern in Ghana.
Give me an example of a country. Give me an example.
COVID.
They are okay now. Give me an example.
And yes, we are okay. Na me kire say won abo wo modern in Ghana.
And I'm saying give me a country.
You share francophone. Wo hwe won figures.
You. The kind number 1. Francophone, that would mean like Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
Take Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire. At the time now, COVID by their financial crisis no, and now more financial sector no, then crash here. Okay, their financial sector had not crashed at the time when COVID had come. At the time now, COVID by no, they were not paying excess capacities, take or pay. Almost every year we were paying $1 billion. Or how? And then their currency is anchored on the euro in France. And that is fundamental, that is key. I don't know, why do we discount that? Said you Ghana, you blame with our currency because you're quantum crow. I don't know, they are a group of 8 countries that have come together almost spending a year safer. And that safer, no money so France. Euro. So how do you compare such an economy to Ghana's economy?
Corruption.
Yeah. Corruption. What's the transparency?
Yeah.
And perception.
Perception.
Now, wait. Perception. Because John Dramani's administration, under his administration, we've had Obia or Servi or
Mbacho some na ayu wadam for na Bahama so Mr. Ameyaw you Mbacho kasa Mr. Dro fachem Mr. Ameyaw fachem yo obebaso na what yes Mr. Dro